You know the situation. You set up an interview in front of some engineering marvel, or next to a busy highway, or next to a construction site. So far, everything's looking great. But when it comes time to review your footage, all you hear is this.
No, hydraulic pins are engineering muscling. We get a few snags on occasion, but and there's always the rubberneck effect.
Is your footage ruined? Is there anything you can do to clean up the audio?
The answer is maybe, but you can absolutely keep the problem from happening again. In this video, we're going to talk about what you can do to recover the sound you already have, and for future shoots, we'll show you how to make sure your footage sounds as good as it looks.
So first things first, you'd rather not go back and reshoot all that footage. Can't you just clean up the audio?
Well, cleaning up audio is like trying to take salt out of your dinner. Once it's part of the food, it's going to be really hard to take it back out. Ugh. You might be able to pick out an obvious grain or two, but other than that, your best bet is usually to start from scratch. Fortunately, we live in a world powered by science, and in some cases, it is possible to remove the salt from your delicious audio.
So what are your options? You've heard people talking about using Audacity to remove noise. Let's give that a shot. Fire up Audacity and open up the troublesome clip. First, you need to find any part of the clip that has no talking, background noise only.
It was causing a...
Select it, and then go to Effects, Noise Removal. Click the Get Noise Profile button. This lets Audacity know what the noise sounds like so it can remove it. Now select the whole clip by going to Edit, Select, All, and then go to Noise Removal again. Use the Preview button to see how your settings affect the result. When you're done, click OK.
Well, there was quite a impressive waterfall here before the dam was...
Well, this isn't terrible, but if you ask me, it sounds a little weird. Let's bring out the big guns, SoundSoap 3, the one everyone recommends for serious audio cleansing. Drag your clip to the bubbly window at the bottom. Once again, you need to find a dialogue-free snippet of your clip. Just press and release the Learn Noise button during the quiet part.
Causing a problem for some of the residents.
And that's it? Let's see how it did.
Well, there was quite a impressive waterfall here before the dam was constructed. And it was...
Well, there you go. Not too bad, right? Now let's take a step back in time. Is there anything we could have done to keep out all this background noise in the first place? Well, before we spend $80 on noise reduction software, let's spend $20 on a basic lavalier mic from Amazon. Hide the cable, pin the mic to the interviewee's shirt, and plug it into your camera's mic input jack, and you're ready to roll. Let's compare this to the audio that came out of SoundSoap.
Well, there was quite a impressive waterfall here before the dam was constructed. And it was causing a problem for some of the residents downriver.
Okay, so this particular mic sounds a little tinny. So let's try using an EQ plugin to bring up the low end.
Solve two problems, three actually. One, you can harness a little bit more electricity. Two, you build a bridge across the lake.
So that's lesson number 1.
Move the mic closer.
You see, even though audio cleanup software does a heck of a job at getting rid of background noise, your subject still sounds far away.
Especially if you're shooting indoors. Just one little problem. Not all cameras have a mic input jack. If yours doesn't, you'll need to either upgrade to a better camera or get an external audio recorder. Our favorite is the Zoom H4n, although it might be a bit much for the occasional one mic interview. We've also gotten good results with its little brother, the Zoom H2. If you're so inclined, you can even record onto your phone. But what if you're in a situation where a lavalier mic just isn't practical? Can't you just slap a shotgun mic onto your camera? While this is likely to be better than your camera's built-in mic, we still recommend that you get that microphone as close as you can to the person talking. Buy a painter's pole at the hardware store and attach your shotgun mic to it. Or if you're trying to impress your client, you can always buy a real boom pole from B&H.
Back here, it's quite old, but it's built to last.
You might need to bring somebody to help you with this part. As a rule of thumb, the closer the mic,
Repairs pretty often because, as you know,
the cleaner the sound.
been done recently. So the dam should give us quite a long service.
Up to a point, of course.
Challenges, but we do a pretty good job of keeping things.
So back to the highway.
The rush hour has gotten pretty...
Ugh, this sounds terrible. It sure is tempting to fire up SoundSoap right about now. Let's see how it does.
Has gotten pretty congested because of the construction happening further up and down.
Again, not too bad. So how could we have avoided this one? Easy. Move away from the highway. The thing to understand is that microphones aren't nearly as accurate as our own ears. What might sound to us like this
That one has a nice scenic view of the countryside, and there's not many people.
really sounds like this to a microphone. It's not nearly as good as your own ears at identifying a human voice. And even if your subject is wearing a lav, it's still liable to pick up an especially loud background noise. So that's lesson number 2.
Avoid the noise.
Even if you do end up having to use noise reduction software, it'll have a lot less work to do if you don't have much noise to begin with. But what if you really wanted that highway in the background? Move away from the road, move the camera back even further, and zoom in. Depending on how far back you move the camera, that audio recorder could come in really handy right about now. Unless you're willing to upgrade to a wireless mic. Onward to the construction site.
Getting a few trucks with new supplies in soon, and they should be able to clean up a few of the areas we're having problems.
Here's where the noise removal software is really going to struggle.
Overall, I think that the building is going to be a nice asset to the neighborhood.
Not so great, huh? Why is that? Because software is really only good for reducing simple noise, like an air conditioner in the background, or the constant drone of traffic. Once you get to varied and complex sounds, like, say, a variety of construction equipment all operating at once, the software no longer knows what's noise and what's signal. Although it might be hopeless, you could spend a long time scrubbing out every errant noise by hand. It would probably be easier to just go back and shoot it again. So maybe now would be the best time to introduce the third and final lesson.
Always wear headphones.
So you go back, and this time you move away from the noise. But how do you know you're far away enough? What if the mic is rubbing up against the interviewee's shirt? This one happens a lot. Or maybe you just plugged it in wrong. How would you know? One thing you'll notice about professional audio technicians is that they always wear headphones. They know that what their mic hears is completely different than what their ears hear. Just like you wouldn't set up your camera without looking at the viewfinder at least once. It's critical that you do the same for your audio. So put on some headphones and don't take them off unless you absolutely have to.
And welcome to the construction site.
And you don't need expensive headphones either. Cheap iPod earbuds will work just fine.
So, in review, move the mic closer, avoid the noise, and always wear headphones. Follow these 3 guidelines and you'll have good audio most of the time. And if you do encounter a problem because you're wearing headphones, you'll know and you can fix it. That's all for now. Until next time, it's always a good idea to keep an ear on what you're shooting.
Over our shoulder we have this fine gentleman who is moving all of the dirt that Aaron... I'm not an ad-libber.
That's so gross.
God, that's salty.